is by its green leaves. All of the native plants in our area, northern Illinois, have lost their leaves by now. It's mid-November here. These still have leaves and they're choking out this big old white oak, and we need to protect the oaks, so we're going to remove this buckthorn. A great identifier, really the only identifier for buckthorn, to be totally sure it's buckthorn, is this very orange inner bark. There is really no other shrub that has this orange of bark. One other way to identify buckthorn is by the thorns. They often grow at the juncture where two branches meet or at the end of the stem. This is a female version of buckthorn. It has its dark berries, and this is the type of buckthorn you would want to remove first. You'll notice this buckthorn still has its green leaves in mid-November, and it gets to about 25 feet tall. When you have a serious infestation, you'll see a wall of green amongst mature trees. Now we're going to show you different methods of removing buckthorn manually. The best way to remove buckthorn and be done with it is to get it by the root system. We have a very young sapling here, and it should be able to be removed and get the whole root system out. But I'm finding that it's really hard to pull out. It's been a dry summer here and a dry fall. So now we're going to move on to a lopper. If pulling it out by the root system is too difficult and the sapling is too large, then we use loppers. Put your lopper horizontal to the surface of the soil and cut directly through it. The flatter the cut is the best, because we want to make sure we can get the herbicide application on clearly without a lot of dripping. And you need to leave about maybe, I don't know, an inch or two of the stem. If the stem is too wide on the buckthorn and you cannot remove it manually and you can't get it out with the loppers, usually about 1 inch in diameter, you can saw it horizontal to the ground about an inch or two above the soil level. You're welcome to use a chainsaw, following all safety precautions, of course, but we have another way to remove a thicker stem buckthorn by the root. This is called an uprooter. It's a tool that clamps down onto the stem. You can rent them at Rental Max in Lake Zurich or order one online. You just put the stem into the clamp, hold down on the back of the tool where you're going to get your leverage, and you squeeze to get the stem into the clamp. What you do then is pivot back, and then the whole root system is removed. And this is a great way to remove buckthorn totally by the stem so it never comes back. If you can't remove the buckthorn by its entire root system, the next best way to make sure the plant does not grow back next spring is to apply an herbicide to a freshly cut stump. You'll want to do this about half an hour after you cut the stump, and you're going to have your herbicides all ready to go. I'm wearing PPE, personal protective equipment. These are just latex gloves. You can wear gloves that go further up your arm. We have glyphosate, 18%, which is clearly marked on our different packaging here. We have triclopyr, which is an 8% concentrate, also well labeled for safety. And then we have this triclopyr inside this buckthorn blaster application, which is a little dabber for small jobs in your yard. So we have our freshly cut stump. What we're going to do is dab around the edges of the bark. This is where the fluids are exchanged in the plant. This orange cambium here is where the herbicide is going down into the root system. Fall and winter is the best time to do this because the sap is going into the root system. There is no collateral damage to other plants because nothing else is growing as it would be in the spring and summer. And we also want to make sure to get around the root collar a little bit more for an extra insurance policy that the buckthorn doesn't come back. We also have a squeeze bottle you can use that will go around the edge. We also have a sprayer. If you are concerned about anything in nearby, you can spray a brush and apply it this way. This is the best way to avoid resprouts in the spring.